Hey VC, Matt here with another Vinyl Finds video of sorts. Got some stuff in the mail recently, a couple packages as VCLT, so I've got a couple of those to show. And I also scored some freebies, some stuff that some people I know gave me a heads up on, and scored two really cool albums. You'll want to stick around for those, but I am going to show the VCLT first. Because I feel like if I showed them last, some of you would watch to see what I got for free and then just skip that part for whatever reason. I don't know why people don't watch VCLT videos, and I know I say this in every single one, but people deserve to have their generosity recognized, so I'm going to do that first. Don't cheat, don't skip ahead to see the free stuff. These are worth sticking around for as well. The first package I got was from Mark Ditch over at the Glassorchidaftermath YouTube channel. Doesn't really make videos anymore, maybe once or twice a year, but you need to go back and check out his back catalog of stuff. It's phenomenal. He is much more articulate than I am, has way more knowledge about 60s psych and garage rock, so if you're a fan of my channel, if you like mine, go watch his because you'll love it. Seriously, he's one of the reasons I got into the VC making videos. It's amazing stuff. And first up, the Hellcats original motion picture soundtrack. Davey Allen and the Arrows did all of these biker exploitive soundtracks in the 60s, and they do this one as well. So you kind of have an idea of what it's going to be. You know, fuzzed up blues rock, maybe a little bit pop psych in spots, but for the most part just kind of heavy on the fuzz. Lots of motorcycle noises and stuff like that. But this was actually sealed. You can see a punch out there. I opened it up, I cracked the seal on it, of course, and played it. Amazing. And it's on a different Tower label, so I don't know if this is a later reissue or if it's an import. You know, it's not that typical orange Tower label you see from the 60s, so I'm not really sure on that, but either way, so generous of Mark to send this my way, and especially a sealed copy. That was way cool. But if you know what year or whatever that label's from, if you're more familiar with that than I am, let me know. Next up from Mark, Jefferson Airplane's Crown of Creation. I love this album, and I didn't have a copy of it. Had a copy a few years ago, but it was really beat up, didn't play through very well, had some skips, so I got rid of it, went straight to the landfill. But Mark sent me a good playing copy, a keeper, if you will, so After Bathing at Baxter's is probably my favorite Jefferson Airplane album. I know Surrealistic Pillow is phenomenal. It's one of the greatest albums of all time, and I love it too. But for my money, I pull out Baxter's a little bit more often than I pull out Surrealistic Pillow. And this is more in that Baxter's vein, a little bit deeper psych stuff. And I feel like this one tends to get overlooked, doesn't get talked about as much as those two albums. And it should be, because it's amazing. Seriously, this one's highly recommended. If you come across this, pick it up. This one can be had really cheap. Pick this one up. And last but not least from Mark, Terry Reid's self-titled album. A lot of you may know Terry Reid's name. It may sound familiar to you. He was the guy that was almost in Led Zeppelin. They asked him to be in the group as their vocalist, but due to contractual obligations he couldn't be, so he recommended Robert Plant to them, and as they say, the rest is history. And now he's kind of a footnote in that Led Zeppelin saga, which is kind of disappointing because as a solo artist he was really good in his own right. Now he does sound remarkably similar to Robert Plant, so when you listen to him, it sounds like Led Zeppelin, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion. I like Zeppelin, so anything that sounds like it can't be that bad. The couple of tracks on here to check out. First up, Super Lungs, Supergirl. I believe it's a Donovan cover. I'll check real quick. Yes, covered a Donovan track. Really good stuff there. And then a cover of Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited / Friends. So kind of a medley of songs there. It's almost 9 minutes long. Great blues track. Check this guy out. Bang Bang Terry Reid is another album that's highly recommended from him, and this stuff can still be had like 15 bucks and under. It's essential. So good. So Mark, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. It's way too generous to send me anything at all, but much appreciated, man. And seriously, everybody, go check out his channel right now. Go watch it. Stop watching my videos, go watch his. And then go watch this guy's videos. Bo, earheadsix, sending me some more stuff, man. I'm just piling that dirt over while I'm in the hole, man. So, anyway, Talking Heads. I have to look at the label to get the name on this. More songs about buildings and food. I like the Talking Heads, but I kind of just know their hits. I don't really know their deeper catalog stuff. And Bo was talking to me about them one day and was like, well, I'll fix that for you. And he sent me this. He found a copy cheap. And I'm really looking forward to giving this a deeper listen. I gave it kind of a cursory listen while I was doing some other stuff. liked what I was hearing, but just didn't have a chance to give it a good deep listen, so I need to do that soon. But another really cool one to add to like that late 70s/80s alternative new wave stuff that I do like quite a bit. So Bo, thank you for that. I'm trying to expand my horizons a little bit with that stuff. But back to what's in my regular wheelhouse. He hooked me up with the Soft Machine Volume 2, their second album, obviously. This is, I believe, a second press. First presses were in a gatefold sleeve, and this is just in a, you know, kind of a regular single sleeve there. But a very, very nice, clean copy of this. And boy, is this good. Psychedelic jazz rock, if that's a thing. And I know sometimes I get my genres mixed up or I'll misspeak about something. You know, I'm not a music journalist, I'm not a musicologist. I'm just a guy that likes to collect records and listen to them, so my frame of reference for things are just things that I know. So, you know, give me a little slack sometimes with some of that stuff, but I'll do my best to describe what it sounds like to me, and hopefully it comes close to hitting the mark on what it actually sounds like. But this is pretty out there stuff, man. This is kind of avant-garde, like I said, jazz rock, psych jazz rock, but really, really, really good stuff. Kevin Ayers, big part of the British psych scene, was their guitarist. David Allen, who formed Gong, was a part of the original iteration of this group. I don't know if he ever was on any of their recorded material. If he was, it was just on their first album. But this is really, really good stuff. But for me, I like this one a little bit better. This is the Soft Machine's first album. They're self-titled. It is the die-cut original gatefold with the uncensored girl on the cover there. Later copies airbrushed a bikini on her. And I'll see if I can spin the wheel while I do this on camera. And yeah, there she is on the front as well. So as Dixieland Farm, Chris would say, va-va-voom. But no, this is really good stuff too. Psych jazz rock again. This one's a little more accessible, I think, than Volume 2. It's a little heavier on the psych and rock, trippy stuff, while maintaining a lot of that jazz element that they explore a little bit further in their later albums. The first 3 tracks, Hope for Happiness, Joy of a Toy, and Hope for Happiness Reprise, those are the ones to check out to give you an idea of what the rest of the album is going to sound like. Man, this is just deep, deep, cool stuff. Bo, this is so generous of you, man, seriously, to send me any of those, let alone all 3 of them. It just blows me away, man. So thank you so much. Everybody go check out Bo's channel, earheadsix. Check out Mark's channel, glassorchidaftermath. They deserve all the views and subscribers that they can get, because their channels are top-notch, seriously. Can't recommend watching those guys enough. But now, on to some freebies. I'm gonna pause and take a VC cheer. So there you go. But now some freebies. I had a guy that I know, knows that I collect records. I see him at the thrift store a lot. I grew up with his grandson, and he was at the recycling center in town one day, and an older lady pulled up, and she was getting out kind of a heavy box, and so he went over to help her and noticed it was a box full of records, bunch of 45s, like hundreds of 45s, and about 30 albums. And he just asked her if he could have them. She said, of course, you know, she's just throwing them away. So he called me and let me know that he had them, if I wanted to come over and take any I wanted, and then he was going to go donate the rest. So I did. I went through them and I pulled out about 10 45s. Most of it, the 45s and LPs both, were a lot of like just typical Goodwill stuff, easy listening, big band jazz kind of stuff that you see all the time. So it wasn't really my thing, but within the 45s it was kind of weird. There was just some cool stuff thrown in, like Bubble Puppies, Hot Smoke, and Sassafras. Got a really clean copy of that. Took home some early Elvis singles, some RCA singles, not on Sun, of course. That'd be amazing. I would show those. And then a couple local St. Louis garage rock singles. Not anything worth a lot of money, but just cool to have. It's kind of local stuff. I'll have to maybe pull out some 45s and do a video on those one day. But within the albums, I only took one, and was pumped to find this. This is one, it wasn't necessarily on my want list, but it was one I had my eye out for a while, and I've never seen an original in the wild. I've seen them online before, but usually way out of my price range, and I didn't want to get a reissue. I wanted an earlier copy, and now I own an original mono copy on Argo of Etta James At Last. This is a really, really nice copy. Pull the disc out so you can see it on that green, teal, bluish, whatever you want to call that Argo label. I don't know if you'll be able to tell condition real well. The lighting's not very good over here, but I would say like a solid VG, borderline VG plus. It is really, really nice, and since it's in mono, and I've got a mono switch, courtesy of Chris at Dixieland Farm, throw the mono switch on, put this on, most of the cracks and pops they drop down a little bit. They're not as noticeable. Sounds great. Just has a nice warm sound. It's one of those albums like, get it on vinyl, man, because it just has a warmth to it that you don't get digitally and stuff like that. So really excited to have this finally, and for a price that I could afford, right? Free. You can't beat free. Second free album, another family friend. Unfortunately, her mom passed away a few years ago. Her dad had passed away when she was younger, and her siblings are cleaning out the house, preparing for an estate sale, and her dad had a pretty sizable record collection, and they don't know anything about records, so they called me and asked if I'd go through it with them, let them know if there was anything valuable, if it was worth selling, or how much I would recommend selling each album for, that kind of thing. Just kind of go and give them advice on what to do with them. And they said, you know, if you find anything that you want, pull them out and we can come to an agreement on stuff. So I went and took a look. Again, it was a lot of Goodwill kind of stuff, a lot of big band jazz, but everything was really, really nice and clean. So I kind of talked to them about that, and then they had a separate box that was their records from when they were teenagers, and kind of let me look through that too and give them opinions on that kind of stuff. And it was a lot of pop, like Carpenters, Partridge Family, some Monkey stuff that I already had. So kind of talked to them about that, but then I stumbled across one album and kind of freaked out. I couldn't believe this was in there. It still blows my mind that this was there. Thunder and Roses, King of the Black Sunrise. This album has been on my want list for a while. It's been one I've kind of been after online. Never seen a copy in person for sure. And this is just mint. This is one of the cleanest copies of an album I own. Seriously, this is amazingly clean. It looks unplayed almost, except I've played it now quite a few times. This is kind of like Cream with Hendrix and Led Zeppelin all mixed together. Doesn't that sound awesome? Seriously. It's heavy on the Cream sound. It really is. The first track, White Lace and Strange, sounds like Cream. Like they're totally ripping Cream off. But it's awesome. Moonchild, Open Up Your Eyes, King of the Black Sunrise, Red House. Seriously. It's like Cream if Hendrix was on guitar. A little bit hard rock, very blue psych. Deep, really, really cool stuff. And like I said, this is just a mint copy. My wife was with me at the time, and I pulled it out and she went, "Oh, that's really clean." She doesn't give a crap about records, but she even knew that this was in exceptional condition. So I told them what I told them about all the albums and said, "This is the one that I want. I'm really interested in this. Let me give you some money for it." And they refused to take anything. I tried. I offered to give them gift cards, cash, whatever it took, because I felt so bad that they were just giving it to me because I know what it's worth. But I told them, I was upfront with them, but they just appreciated my help going through the stuff, and since I just wanted one album, they let me have it, which was awesome. Much appreciated from them as well. So yeah, scored a couple cool freebies, got some really cool VCLT from even cooler people. And that brings us to the end. So thank you guys very much for sticking around, listening to me to ramble for 12-13 minutes, however long this is going to be, but appreciate it. We'll be back soon with the record run video. I've got one almost finished up, should be posted within the next week or so, so keep an eye out for a couple more of those coming your way, and until then, we'll see you later. Have a good one.